So I did another interview. Who keeps letting you interview them? Beats me, but here we are. So I got to interview Dannielle Slagger, and I hope I'm saying that name right. If not, I'm so sorry. Get a better name. I got to interview Danny, and she is absolutely amazing. I had such a great time filming this episode. And we got to talk about a lot of things that students struggle with. So anxiety, self-confidence, self-worth. She's given amazing advice, and I think it could help all of us. So make sure you watch the video, hit that like button if you like the video, turn on the bell to get, I'm so bad at this. And again, subscribe if you want to get regular updates. I release videos every Friday. So please continue watching. We do end up playing a really fun game at the end, so make sure you stick around for that. I do get her into a lot of trouble, and I think it's hilarious. I'm not sorry. But continue watching. Thanks. Bye. Okay. Hi, Danny. Thanks for joining me here today.
No worries.
How are you? How's lockdown treating you?
I'm good. Yeah, I'm one of the lucky ones. So like Jackson and I are still working. Being healthcare workers, we're allowed to work. I mean, there's a few restrictions about it, but yeah, God, I can't imagine the people that aren't working, because even on the weekends doing nothing, I'm getting really bored. So the people that are doing that every day must be going nuts. Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, really well. How are you?
I'm good. The lockdown hasn't really affected my social life at all, because I was kind of like antisocial before, and it's just kind of like,
yeah,
it's not
I'm
really,
a bit of a
to be honest.
yeah, I'm a bit of a homebody, so it's like not hit me as hard as it's probably hit others.
Yeah, exactly. If I was like very incredibly social, I think it would be harder for me, but I'm just, I've always been a loner, so it's a bit fine. I don't know what to say. So you said it hasn't really affected yourself and Jackson in any way. Is that the same for all healthcare professionals with the lockdown?
I mean, I wouldn't say it hasn't affected us in terms of work. They have made some rule changes. So what they've done with stage 4, which we're in now, for a 6-week lock, hopefully that's it and they don't extend it, is that they've made some ruling about people coming in only if the issue that they're experiencing is affecting their day-to-day life. So if they're having any niggles or pains, you know, there's probably loopholes, and you could probably just write, you could probably justify it and get around it some ways. But what they've said is that they're not supposed to be coming in unless they're having some pain that's interrupting their day-to-day life. Yeah. So, I mean, at my work, it's still, fairly busy, but we've definitely seen reduced hours. Yeah. One of the girls that works with us, she's on JobKeeper like we all are, and she's just elected to only go to an external clinic and not come here, so that we limit people going out and in and cross-contaminating kind of. So because she's elected to do that, it's kind of opened up some more work at the clinic for others. And therefore I haven't lost that much work, but as a whole we have, yeah.
Okay. So what about so is that with podiatry or is that with cosmetic tattooing?
That's with podiatry. So I haven't been able to do any cosmetic tattooing in a long time now, which is really upsetting. Since we moved here, Jackson and I picked a really good time. We moved to Melbourne 1 week before the first initial lockdown. And
Oh, wow.
so, like that wouldn't have been set up by then anyway, because we just were moving in and everything. And we kept thinking, a few months and I'll get it all set up and, all of that. But obviously it's just such a huge global pandemic that I've been just trying to not think about it. So I did call council and local council here to get them to come and inspect the new room that I'm going to rent out to do my cosmetic tattooing. And they did come and look at it and said, yep, you can work out of there. But because it's so unknown with the end date for coronavirus, obviously like here being in stage 4, nothing's open. And I think beauty and obviously cosmetic tattooing being definitely not essential won't be open for a very long time. So I've not really done any of that since probably February. So it's been ages. Yeah. And I'm like, God, am I going to remember how to do it? I can't. Scary.
You wanted 1 or 2 eyebrows?
Crazy. Yeah, so that's a bit nerve-wracking to think about. I'm just like, just ignore that. Don't even think about it.
Yeah. Because that's your personal, like that's your business, isn't it? Essentially.
Yeah. So what led to that? I was living on the mid-north coast with Jackson. We did a couple of years there. I was in Port Macquarie the first year, and Foster, which is only an hour away. And that's quite a country town, I guess. Like it's definitely not a city. There's not that many people there. And living there, looking for a podiatry job was limited. So being myself and not happy with any podiatry job, I couldn't find anything that I loved, so I just didn't work as a podiatrist. And that, now looking back at it, it's kind of like, oh, that's fine. But when I was in the moment, for me, it was sort of in my head, I was thinking, okay, well, I'm going to quit the podiatry profession. It's not for me. So basically, I quit podiatry for the 6 months or so. I was working just in retail, which didn't really bother me. Like I'm a bit of a people person anyway, so it was fine. Like it was quite relaxed, chill. We just didn't do much. So that paid the bills for a little while, although it was a steep payment drop. But yeah, it paid the bills for a while, and that was fine. And when Jackson suggested we move to Melbourne, he said, look, you might be able to find a podiatry job in Melbourne. And I was really against that. I was like, no, I've quit it. Like, there's not going to be any jobs that will offer me what I'm after. And he said, like, in a city, you'd be surprised how much opportunity there is compared to a country town. And I just didn't believe him. I was like, no one's going to hire me because I'm so specific. So yeah, that's why I started cosmetic tattooing. And I quit podiatry. I decided to study that and decided to start my own business, because that's obviously a small profession, which is getting bigger, but no one hires you. So you have to do your own thing and go out on your own. Yeah, so that's why I started the business, and it is my own business that I'm like building from the very ground, because there's not much happening there yet. And then I moved. So I haven't really been doing it for a very long time, about a year.
Yeah.
Or now but half of that I wasn't tattooing anyway. Yeah.
So like I really want to know, like, after going through all the steps of studying podiatry, quitting, but must have been a really difficult decision.
Yeah, it really was. It deflated me quite a lot. I felt really like not good enough. I know that now that I look back on it, and I think, for me to say I'm just not going to do that part of podiatry, it's not common. Most people will have their favorite part, like everyone, I'm sure, will have the things that they like and that they don't like. But I don't think many people will just put their foot down and say, I'm not going to do that. Like, to the point where I would say, if you want me to do all of the things that you offer in your clinic, I won't do anything. So I'm very specific and rigid on that. And that's why I thought that it would never work, because you see a lot of clinics advertised as sports podiatrists, and words associated with that, but you don't often see clinics that sort of put their focus on general care or ingrown nail care. You don't see that often, and especially not in country towns, which is I grew up on the Central Coast as well. So for most of my life, I haven't been in a city. So there wasn't that much opportunity, and therefore I thought it's just not for me, because I didn't know that it would be a possibility to specialize within podiatry, which it's kind of not really a thing. I mean, not really, like not many people do it, but I just decided that that's happening.
What is it specifically about ingrown toenails that you wanted to specialize in that?
To be honest, I'm going to be really raw here, but when I was at uni, and I had amazing teachers, and I was surrounded by amazing people that really wanted to help me learn, but from the day dot, I just wasn't interested in anything biomechanics, anything like physio related, rehab or dealing with acute injuries, or I don't know, like it was actually bizarre. Like at uni, I just was like, oh, I don't even really like this. But I was like, oh, well, I'm 2 years out of 3 now. I might as well finish it. Like, which is hilarious. I'm so weird. But anyway, I just.
You're surprised like how many students actually, like I've heard them say that to me. So you're not the only one.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I did a different course first, and then I dropped out of that to join podiatry at random. I was like, oh, well, I don't want to be a lab rat doing biomed. So I changed to podiatry because I was like, people that talks to people, that might be better. And yeah, so it was disheartening being even just 2 years in and thinking, oh God, I don't like this either. Maybe I don't like anything. Yeah, like during uni, I didn't enjoy that side of things at all. And I kept saying that to my mum actually. And she was like, oh, maybe it's because you don't have the confidence. And when you finish and you work in it, you'll learn to like it because you'll be more confident. And I thought, yeah, that's probably it. And I had a really good boss when I first finished uni. My first boss, he was awesome. And I know that I could have learnt so much from him in that field. But and it was a part of me that it was probably anxiety as well, because I felt not confident in that area. I didn't want to treat people with those conditions, or I didn't want people coming in with knee pain or complex foot pain, because I was just anxious about it. And so straight away, that sort of the loss of confidence made me stop my learning there. And usually when you finish uni, your learning is only just beginning. So in that area, my learning had kind of halted because I had halted it. So I'm sure if I was a bit more open-minded to it, there's a possibility that I could have been more confident and liked it. But I just decided, and I was in an older town, an older population. So the majority of what was coming in was general foot care, ingrown nails, that kind of thing anyway. So I just built my confidence up really quickly in that side of things, and I loved it. And one of the things I did really love about it as well, it's obviously very rewarding getting them out of pain, but I just loved the chat as well. I loved being a part of older people's day, because I know that they don't speak to many people. So when they speak to me, I try to be really bubbly and make their day. And that was the part that was really rewarding for me. So it was in my head kind of joining the dots, thinking, well, I don't feel confident in that side of podiatry anyway. I've never been interested. And that's a big part of things as well, because, if you're interested, you'll go home and read about it and develop your skills and want to get better. But I didn't want to. I knew I had great mentors around me, but I was like, nah. So yeah, I just decided to focus on what I was good at and what I liked, instead of trying to develop skills where I wasn't interested. Because I do know, if you do that, you're not going to have your heart in it, and you won't want to treat it anyway, because it'll come in and you'll be like, oh. And that's what I was like. Someone would book in, and I'd see knee pain in the notes, and I'd be like, oh my God. I swear to God, one day someone booked in with knee pain and I went home sick. Swear to God, that happened. I was so anxious. I was just I'm going home.
Trick.
I just left. Yeah, I was like, nah.
Not doing.
That was when I first came out of uni. But yeah, I just nope.
So that actually leads into my next question. For any students that are kind of going through what you went through with just not finding everything that they like about podiatry, they like one thing, and also having a kind of dealing with confidence. Do you have any tips or any advice for them?
Well, I mean, it's hard to make anything stick really, because sometimes when you're in that position, nothing anyone says you listen to. So yeah, I understand that it can be hard, but just knowing that you have to expand your bubble, because I'd never lived in a city. In my head, I was like, there is no way that exists, because I hadn't seen it. So I don't know. I think you just have to know that you haven't seen everything, and what one employer might hate or what you think they might hate, another one will love. So, and that's just people in general.
That's really good advice.
And you don't know what people want either. You just assume, and that's what I was doing. I was assuming. I even the podiatrists in the area, that they would advertise a position for a podiatrist in general, and they would list, sports related, as one of the things that you would do, just everything, because you'd be a general podiatrist. And I would see that and not apply. And I know now that that's just counterintuitive, because I don't know what they're thinking. They might be listing that because they're thinking a podiatrist would see just general care and not want the job. You don't know that. So if you don't communicate with them or ask them and just say, look, this is what I love and I'm confident in, will that help your business? You don't know. Yeah.
That's really good. That's actually really good advice. I know there's a lot of students, even when it comes to like after they graduate with like looking for jobs, a lot of them will kind of shy away from things that are like job requirements that are listed, thinking, okay, well, I'm not too confident in this, so I'm not going to apply. But just, so your advice is just apply, and you never know what they're actually looking for, and it could work out for you.
Well, look, I totally understand. Like, I can totally understand that, and coming from someone who can relate to anxiety around things like that, I would say just carefully plan out what you're going to say to them, and whether it's an application or it's a, hey, I've just seen your advertisement and I just wanted to have a quick chat about your clinic and what you're looking to fulfill in the role that you're advertising. And make it about them if you don't feel comfortable making it about yourself. So instead of saying, this is what I'm after, do you have that? You could position it about them, so that the focus of the conversation is about that person, which will help a person that's suffering from, a bit of anxiety about the topic. That's what I would recommend to the, new grads or anyone that's feeling not confident in an area. And that's what I wish I could have told myself.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's great advice. I struggle with anxiety as well. Even when it comes to little things like presenting. We had to do an anatomy presentation in class for year 1. And I remember just shaking the entire time. I was shaking, and I had to hold up like a foot skeleton, and I couldn't hold it straight. Like I just had to toss it mid-presentation. It was like the anxiety. So that's actually really helpful advice. Thank you.
I totally understand that.
Sorry what?
Oh, I just said I totally understand that. Yeah, okay. I get the nerves too. Yeah. I think I have them right now. Like, I'm like, can I hold this straight? Probably not.
Okay, my last question, and this kind of like goes back to ingrown toenails, but we're going into year 2, and I think we're going to be doing a bit of ingrown toenails, like the surgery part of it. I'm not sure exactly if we're doing it in year 2 or year 3, definitely, but do you have any advice for students that are going to learn about ingrown toenails and how to kind of make sure their surgery is successful?
I could talk all day long about nails. When I say I'm an ingrown nail specialist, like I'm a nail care kind of specialist. Like, that's what and I don't like to say I'm a specialist, because I don't feel like, that's appropriate. But anyway, like, yeah. So what I would suggest as a piece of advice to people that feel like they're not confident or haven't started learning about nail care or ingrown nail care in particular, is that there's not a particular unit that once you finish that unit, you should know a certain amount of content. No one picks up even 80, even 50% of what they're taught. No one picks that up. So just take that in and know that when you're finished, if you don't feel like you've learned enough, there's so many resources out there. And even if you just get on like LinkedIn or Facebook even, and message someone and just say, look, do you have any courses that you recommend? Because I don't feel like I've learned enough. So if they're going into it thinking that if this information doesn't suffice. There's always more. And that might, I don't know, calm them down if they're feeling like, oh, this doesn't, make me feel confident enough. But just know that when I left uni, I wasn't confident either. Like, I know there's a lot of people that say when you leave uni, you're the most confident. Maybe that's a boy thing. I don't know. But when I left uni, like, I'm like an overconfident person. I've always been an underconfident person. So I guess that differs person to person. But when I left uni, I wasn't confident. I'm still not confident. Like, if that helps you, like, I guess it comes with practice, like anything. Like if you're learning an instrument, if you're doing anything, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, because you'll feel more confident with yourself. And sometimes when you're, I guess, diagnosing something or looking at something, you'll question yourself. But if you see it enough, then you'll just make connections in your own head. In terms of ingrained nails, which is what you asked me about anyway, and I've gone off on a tangent. I'd like to maybe say that people sort of think ingrown nails is always onychocryptosis, which is like the side of the nail piercing the skin by definition. And that's, in my opinion, and I see a lot of this, is maybe 10% of ingrown nail pain that walks in the door. Most of the time it's pressure, and most of the time that pressure is there because of onychophosis, which is, if this is your nail, the skin or the hard skin building up like under here from the pressure of shoes pushing down all day into your nail, pushing the sides of the nails into the skin. So just like, I explain this to all of my patients that have it, because I say it and they're like, what does that mean? And I explain it to them by saying, say you've got a callus under your foot. It's built up because you're putting too much pressure in one particular area. The skin is either going to break down and, blister or ulcerate or whatever, or it's going to adapt and thicken to cope with that amount of pressure. And I explain to them the reason they've got that build-up of hard skin at the sulci is because repetitive pressure downwards of the nail is just constantly pushing on that skin, and the skin's adapted by thickening so that it won't break. And like calluses under the foot, that is a good advantageous adaptation, but it comes to a point, like it gets too much, and then that advantageous adaptation becomes painful. So it's there for a reason, and I explain, it's there stopping you from becoming into more pain. So it's not necessarily bad. It's just that if we don't control it, you'll get pain from the pressure, because it's obviously space occupying if it's thicker, and you've got less space down the side there. So it's going to be causing pressure. So what I mean by that is, most of the time when I have someone coming in for nail pain, maybe 80% of the time, which is a lot, it's involving me using a 15 blade and cutting the onychophosis, which sometimes is just HK, but sometimes it's HDs, like corns, down the side of the involuted nail. And that's what most people suffer with, in my opinion. And I see an elderly population mostly. So that's probably why mine is more that and less onychocryptosis, because you do see that more in a younger population, especially where I'm living now. I see mainly 60 to 80-year-olds from Italy or Greece usually. So it's a very narrow range.
It is very narrow.
Yeah. I mean, I see Australians as well, but I definitely see more Greek and Italian people, which has been a challenge for me, because where I'm from, it's very much white only. Like, there was no diversity. So for me, when I first started, my obstacle was pronouncing names. Like, honestly, it was still today, I walk out there and I'm like, and I like say it, but in a question tone. I'm like, is anyone understand? Yeah, it's honestly bizarre. Like, some of the names, what is that?
I love that. Oh my gosh. I can just picture you like hesitating.
Yeah, I wish you could read my client list for the day. Sometimes I'm just like, what? Like, no, it's just words I've never seen before.
Oh, wow. Oh, gosh. Okay, well, this is now my favorite part of the interview where I can get you into as much trouble as possible. So, like I explained before, we're going to be playing a game. But since you and Jackson are both podiatrists and you're both partners, we're going to be playing a game that is more centered around that. And it's called Who's Better? Are you ready to play?
I can't wait. It's going to be the best.
Okay, first question. Who talks about feet the most?
Ooh. Well, I'd have to say me. Yeah. Yeah. Probably me. Because I talk the most out of both of us.
Who has better feet?
Jackson, 100%. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely thought it would be you.
No, and don't get me started on that because my mom was right. When I was in high school, I grew really fast. So like I was like taller than everyone, which I'm fine with now. Like being taller is good. But when you're like 16,
Can't relate.
when you're 16 and you just hate the world and you have bigger feet than you think you should have, my mom's like, they don't fit. And I'm like, yeah, they do. They do. They're fine. They're really comfortable. And I'm like squishing my feet. I'm the worst. As a podiatrist, I look and I cringe. But I would wear size 2 small shoes because I thought it looked better. So now I have probably like little grade 2 bunions. So yeah, his feet are definitely better than mine. Yeah. I'm just
Okay. Right. Eh?
I said I'm just living proof that to my patients that you can induce bunions.
I think, yeah, I'll bear that in mind. Right. Who's better at laundry?
Oh, better meaning you know what? He's actually pretty good. I'd say we're both even. He does a lot of laundry for a guy. Like I'm impressed. He does a lot. Yeah.
Okay, who's the better cook?
Me. That was easy.
Okay, who's messier?
Him. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. I'm gonna say him or our birds. Actually, if we had to pick, God, our house isn't that messy, but like we got 3 parrots, so you can imagine. Yeah.
Why parrots? Like out of all animals.
I'm kind of, I don't know if you've heard, but I'm kind of obsessed with birds. I've always just loved birds. And you know what? My mum started that because I was always like, I want a dog, like, you know, a normal kid. And she was like, oh, no, we're not getting a dog, but I'll get you a budgie. And it just kind of started from there. So,
Okay.
and I've just gone bigger and bigger and bigger. Now my parrots are getting bigger and smarter and I'm teaching them tricks
Aw.
and stuff.
What kind of tricks have you taught them?
Well, my parrot, I say, turn around, and he does a little spin, and I say, shake, and he shakes, and he gives kisses. Before COVID, he'd give them to randoms because I take him out for walks. I know I'm like full bird crazy. Like he'd be on my shoulder and I'll go outside for a walk, and kids used to come up and be like, "Oh my god!" And I'd be like, "Okay, give him a kiss," and he'll go, "Mwah." Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty tame.
Oh, great. Who can kill a plant the quickest?
Oh, him. You know what? He's knocked over. He's knocked over a string of pearls, and if anyone's a crazy plant person out there, they'll know that those are expensive. And yeah, I came home and he just knocked it over. But yeah, He doesn't even care about plants. If I went on holidays, I would get, and he was staying home, I would have to get someone to come over because he'd kill them all.
Oh. Sorry, Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's the better singer?
Oh, well, I've never heard him sing, but I'm going to have to say him because I'm that bad that I know it would be him.
Okay. Now, my last question. This is going to be a good one. This was highly recommended, actually. Who's the better podiatrist?
Okay, that's an interesting one. I'm going to have to say him because I think, well, there's probably me coming back to my my underconfidence again, but I'm going to say him because I think he's probably more passionate about it. And I think that's what makes anyone good at anything.
Yeah.
I'm one of the people that like, I love so many things that I can't be so passionate about one thing and put so much time into one thing because I love so many things. And I think that's probably a downfall of mine. But he's so passionate, it's disgusting. Like I come home, and he's just like reading textbooks, and like he just loves it. Like he just loves to learn about it, and I love to learn as well. But like
There's a lot.
like there's a limit for starters, and like I'd get bored of it. Like I'd have to do other things as well. Whereas if he's studying, if he's reading, he's studying. Like
Oh, wow.
yeah, all the time, and he.
So disgusting.
I guess it's because he makes me feel guilty. I'm not gonna lie. He comes home and he's studying, and I thought we were gonna watch TV, but I can't watch TV while he's studying because like I'm sitting there feeling guilty. But yeah, like let me put it this way: for Christmas, he wants books on podiatry, or some type of biomechanics book or something like that. That's what he wants for Christmas from me.
God,
So,
what a nerd.
such a nerd, and it makes me he's such a nerd. Yeah. So yeah, I'd have to say for the passion. Good on him.
Yeah, good job. Big nerd.
That's right.
You know, I had such a great time chatting with you. Thank you so much for joining me here today. I hope you have a lovely evening, and I can't wait to talk to you again. Bye.
Bye.